Do I need
change
to
the programme. I did ask Chris just to give us a brief 10 minutes on what is demonstrating next door. So thanks very much for Chris for stepping in, and coffee when you've finished.
I'll go as fast as I can, obviously. Good morning. Yeah, Dave actually asked me late last night if I would just talk briefly about this, because there's been a surprising amount of interest, which is quite gratifying and slightly frightening, to be honest. We're located, local repeater is right in the middle of that picture. It's GB3TM on the north coast of Anglesey. And what I've been working on for, would you believe it, 2 years, is essentially, I can't say a software-defined repeater because it's not actually processing the video signal directly, but it is software-driven. So there's no dedicated hardware. That was the key thing. So back in October 14, I came up with a proposal. By January, we agreed a specification. And the key thing was to use off-the-shelf hardware, just buying standard stuff, not building anything if we could avoid it. And similarly, off-the-shelf software, not writing tons and tons of code to make the thing work. So it was a bit of a challenge, but checking a certain auction website this morning, I'll go through these fairly quickly. There's all sorts of kit available. These muxes, I've got both of the models there. One I'm actually using just for audio, that one, because it's balanced line in and out, which is great. The other one was video, and I use that in my shack. I've actually got another one outside, which is a CCTV quad processor, and that's actually sitting on the model repeater on the desk outside now. These things are great, just a little converter and a sound card for under £1. I mean, you can't go wrong really, can you? So the heart of it, of course, is a single board computer. I used a Pi because I had a Pi. Could be anything. Key thing is it has to have a reasonable video output, because the thing about a repeater is it needs a good slideshow, doesn't it? So this, of course, has HDMI or composite, so ideal. And it must multitask. If you try and write a scheduler that will respond quickly enough to changes in the repeater input, it gets very hard very quickly when you're trying to do all the other things as well. We currently have a PIC-based, I think it's PIC-based, John might correct me, repeater from 15-20 years ago, and we actually have to wait anything up to 30 seconds for it to sense a change in the inputs because it's so busy displaying the next slide and things like that. It's quite frustrating. So reasonably fast multitasking system. And of course I wanted to keep it as simple as I could. So rather than writing one massive program, as I say, just use lots of separate things, just putting them in as I want and changing them if I needed. So really trying to keep it as simple as possible. So that was our first kind of, well, this is what we might have in the box. There's not a lot to it. The core to that is the HDMI switch at the top centre there. And obviously there's a Pi, and because we're currently composite throughout the repeater, we convert the HDMI to composite in the little white box at the bottom there. We would like progressively to replace our receivers with ones that have HDMI outputs, so that's the kind of objective, to free us up to do that, which we can't currently do, of course. So those are the tasks that run. I won't go through them in detail. I've got a series of slides that follow this that do go through them in detail. If you want to view those, they're running on the repeater outside, so do come along. While I think of that, Sean was mentioning vMix. We've actually got vMix running as well, so if you look for the green screen out there, you can have a little play with vMix as well, so more than welcome. Nearly there. I'll whiz through these. Node Red, can I go back? Yes. That is the thing that has made a big difference. I came across this in North Wales Tech, which is a non-radio technical group, and they're all using it for Internet of Things applications. There's heating controllers and people building aquaponic systems and all sorts, and they're all using this Node Red, so I thought, well, that sounds interesting. And the beauty of it is that you've got this library of building blocks that you just literally drag in, set the parameters on them, say it's an RS232 output, which the CCTV quad box at the bottom right there is. You might set the baud rate and port name and so forth, and then you just use it. With the things at the top left there, the one labelled 70 sems and 23 sems, those are GPIO inputs, so they're just seeing a switch coming from the receiver, obviously. And those, you just say what GPIO you want to use. You'll notice I've stuck an inverter in there just to turn it the other way up because the sense was wrong. Now, if I want to reconfigure these inputs and things, I just take it out, change it. So if I changed the receiver and the output sense from the receiver was the other way up, I'd just take the inverter out. So it's very quick and easy and very flexible. No code at all. Marvellous. So it'll do all of that, and all the libraries that come with it give you that. All the stuff listed at the bottom there, the serial, the infrared control. The infrared control is important because that's how we actually switch the HDMI switch. It's got an infrared input. So if you're looking at doing this, make sure you buy one with an infrared remote control. I'll go on through these because these are all the tasks. I don't want to go into the detail because we want coffee. That was one that was worth looking at. Just some of the things that Node-RED make very simple, tweeting or emailing when the thing's activated. Hey, our repeater doesn't get used that much, so it's handy to know if someone's on without having to be watching all the time. So if we get a tweet or an email, or even better an SMS, you know, and possibly we could be processing video streams. That's going to be the next kind of generation in my mind. But the point of this is it's flexible. A lot of the stuff is built using this so-called maker technology, little modules. That's a opto-isolator module, there's relay modules, and you just hook them together with wires, pre-made with ends on. So there's no soldering, it's trivial. Some people might question the reliability. I think there's a balance to be found. There's a trade-off between reliability and flexibility. I've never had any problem with these, so time will tell. So there's a summary. It's low cost. I mean, the total cost of the box outside is less than 50 quid. It's easy to change things as time progresses and you need to change things out. And it's easy to change the controls to control it. Thank you.